Has the blue
Tom
shirt.
has on the blue shirt.
Tom
Tom
has blue?
does.
Okay.
I don't know what Rob has on, but just watch.
Rob has blue shirt. Jerseys are UnitedHealthcare. And the UnitedHealthcare team is Paige McCabe, Nick Johnson, Francisco Bilbao, and Brad Limehouse coming off the end line down there. In the yellow and gold and black jerseys for the Fross and Fross team, you will have Joe Watkins, Pedro Lori, Nico Talamoni, and Alan Martinez. As they go by, get a quick picture. All right, they're making their way over here in front of the grandstands. Once again, for the UnitedHealthcare in the blue jerseys, you have Paige McCabe, Nick Johnson, Francisco Bilbao, and Brad Limehouse. For the Fross and Fross, Joe Watkins, Pedro Lori, Nico Talamoni, and Alan Martinez. All right, once we get the players back to the middle, if everyone will please rise. Okay, now for player introductions. Since one of the UnitedHealthcare players are off their horse, we'll start with the Fross and Fross team. Playing in the number 1 for Fross and Fross, wearing the white helmet, is Joe Watkins. Playing in the number 2 position will be Pedro Lori. Playing in the number 3 position, the showman himself, Nico Talamoni. And playing in the number 4 position in the black helmet, riding the gray pony, is Alan Martinez. All right, now for UnitedHealthcare, playing in the number 1 position will be Paige McCabe. Playing in the number 2 position, wearing a nice baby blue helmet and baby blue wraps, is babyface Nick Johnson. And playing in the number 3 position will be Francisco Bilbao. And playing in the back position, it will be Brad Limehouse. Brad filling in for Jamie Maricatani today. Welcome Brad back to the Villagers Polo Club. Our throw-in today will be done by the Fross and Fross team of Tom and Robert.
Right here, Tom. Yeah, right there.
I think there's a little strategy going on here. They're trying to get the ball thrown to them in the sport of polo. We start the match by bowling the ball in between both teams. A chukker will be 7.5 minutes long. You will hear one horn with 30 seconds left in the chukker. Depending on what happens in that 30 seconds, if we play the final 30 seconds. Tom, throw the ball up to me up here. Then I'll throw it in. All right. Just waiting for Nick Johnson. He went off to switch horses there. Some of these riders use a different horse during the parade because some of their horses do not like the national anthem and they like to be on a calmer horse during that time, so we allow them to switch. But during the match, they have to do that on their own time. So we got Nick Johnson back out on the field. We got 8 players, 1 umpire, and 2 Fross and Frosses.
All right, guys, ready?
All right, we're ready. Clock is ready. Ball is in. Right down the middle it goes, and the first one there is Alan Martinez. All right, Alan Martinez tapping this ball around a little bit with a nice little pass up forward to Joe Watkins. Joe Watkins taking it down the boards, going towards goal. He tries to cut that one towards goal. He doesn't get it there yet, but he still has control. He's going towards the goal now, but here it comes Francisco Bilbao, the thief in the night, steals it out of that goal mouth for UnitedHealthcare. Coming up the tailgating side he comes. Francisco with a nice release shot up past midfield. Who's going to be the first one there? Looks like Nick Johnson and Nico Talamoni. They kind of ride each other off there, but Nico gets a little shot over to Alan Martinez. Alan now waiting for his players to start to move forward. Brad Limehouse there to try to play a little defense, but Alan gets a nice release shot up the field. About 100 yards out there. It's about 80 yards away from the goal. Here comes Joe Watkins. He passes it back nicely right there to Nico Talamoni. What a pass. Nico in control now, turns on it, going towards goal. Here comes Brad Limehouse to get a hook. Here comes Francisco Bilbao to get a hook. Neither gets it, but there's Nico with a shot towards goal. That ball's rolling just wide of the goal. Nico Talamoni trying to put the first goal on the board, but misses that 24-foot goal. All right. Like I mentioned, when the ball goes over the end line, the opposing team has a knock-in. That's Francisco Bilbao with a nice pass right over to Brad Limehouse. Limehouse, he leaves it behind right there for Nico Talamoni, but he's on the opposing team. All right, Nico up against the boards. Please pay attention on the far side over there. That ball can roll over the boards at any given moment. All right, back in action. Here comes Alan Martinez taking the pass from Talamoni. Alan about 60 yards out. He's tapping and tapping. Here comes Frankie in to try to get a hook. There's Alan with the shot towards goal. It's rolling just wide of the goal. Looks like we have what is called a safety. All right, you'll notice the UnitedHealthcare can place themselves in front as long as they're 30 yards away. Allen goes with a nice grass burner, but it's kind of off angle. It's going to roll over the end line, out of play. UnitedHealthcare dodging a bullet. We got 5.5 minutes left here in our first chukker of play. All right. Here comes Francisco Bilbao off that far end line. He's looking to see where his players are going. He sends Brad on the fly. A nice shot right down here in front of the grandstand. Here comes Brad Limehouse. He picks this ball up. You will notice Alan and Brad coming together. That is perfectly legal to bump each other as long as you are shoulder to shoulder and at the same speed. Alan Martinez draws the umpire's whistle. This would be Francisco Bilbao. He shoots wide of the goal. Okay. Dodged the bullet there. Francisco Bilbao doesn't miss a lot of them. We have 4 minutes, 35 seconds left. This is Nico Talamoni. He puts a nice pass out there to Pedro, but the first one there is Brad Limehouse with a little back shot. But Alan Martinez picks it up. Alan Martinez now and Frankie come together. Alan tapping that ball down the field, taking it out of midair as he's tapping it, riding that pony. Look at Alan Martinez is sticking that ball up the field. All right, he leaves it there for Talamoni. Talamoni now slows it down. Here comes Nick Johnson in to try to get a hook on his mallet. Hooking mallets is perfectly legal as well. All right, this is going to be Bilbao with a nice back shot off the end line. Who's going to be the first one to turn on it? Talamoni stops it right there. Nick Johnson and Nico Talamoni fighting for it. Nico comes out of that one. Nico's tapping this one towards goal. Nico. Oh, it's taken out of the goal mouse right there by Brad Limehouse. What a play by Limehouse. Limehouse is on a rocket ship right up here. Heads up. The ball's over the board. Please do not run down there and grab that ball yet. Once the players in the boards is part of the Polo playing field for the horses to jump over. All right. Ball's back in play. Here comes Bilbao. Bilbao taking it out of the throw-in. Bilbao with a nice back shot right over there to Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson looks up the field. Nick sees Frankie on the run. Look at this pass from Johnson right over to Bilbao. Bilbao picks it up. Here comes Alan Martinez in to try to get a hook. Bilbao still in control. He's going to cut this one back to the goal. Look at that ball. It's rolling just wide of the goal. Switching ponies right there while his team was down there on that end. Alan coming back out on the field now. Alan with a nice little grass burner up the field. All right, who's going to be the first one there? Looks like it's going to be Joe Watkins. Joe checking up. All right, ball bounces off the boards there. It's hard to dig that ball off the board sometimes. All right, here's Nick Johnson and Alan Martinez. Alan's little pony there pushing Nick out of the way. Alan's still in control now. He leaves it there for Talamoni. Talamoni with a nice grass burner up the field to Pedro. Pedro on the near side of his horse, tries to cut it back. Doesn't get the shot he wants. Here comes Bill Bow. Bill Bow with a nice shot right over here towards midfield in front of the grandstands. Here comes Paige McCabe. Beautifully done on the near side. Paige again. All right, here comes Talamoni. He leaves it there. I think Alan called him off the play there nicely. Then look at that pass from Alan right over to Nico. Excellent teamwork. You'll see the two players bump there. And now who's going to be the first one there? And it is Nick Johnson. He slows his pony down a little bit. He sees Brad going one way. Oh, Alan steals it out from under Nick's mallet. Alan with a little pop up towards the goal. All right, Alan is off. But here comes Nick. Alan takes it on the near side. Alan going towards goal. He cuts it back. The ball's left right there. Who's going to be the first one there? It's going to be Nico Talamoni. Nick Johnson down there trying to defend two players. This is goal number 1 for Fross and Fross. Now, the Fross and Fross team will be going towards the scoreboard. The UnitedHealthcare going towards the south. That's the first horn just after the ball got thrown in. The reason we switch ends after each goal is that way neither team has field, sun, or wind advantage. All right. This ball's back in play. Here comes Alan Martinez. Here comes Nick Johnson trying to get a back shot. And then there's Francisco Bilbao. But here comes Alan Martinez. Look at Alan's pony take off to the races. Alan reaches back, doesn't get it. And then Francisco backs it out of there. Now it's picked up by Brad Limehouse. They have a few seconds left here. That's our second horn. Give both teams a round of applause. The first chucker comes to end.
Done a group like you enjoyed that, man.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
at it. Regia?
Behind each player and the horse that they are riding. And like I mentioned earlier, they all have to play the sport right-handed. All right, this chucker will start where that chucker ended. Umpire Lyle will bull the ball into play. The ball's back in action. We will play 6 chuckers of polo today, and after the 3rd chucker, we will have halftime. And our Mini Coopers will be out here. All right, a pass from Alan Martinez out front, trying to get to Joe. Joe steals it out from under Johnson's mallet. And Nick Johnson picking this one up out of the goal mouth now. All right, Nick Johnson slowing his pony down. He places a nice pass right over to Paige. Here comes Paige. Paige gets, look at that beautiful hook by Alan Martinez. That was perfectly executed. All right, Alan Martinez now. He angles that ball. Look at this shot up in the air. And look at our flagman place himself in the perfect angle to make sure he could see if the ball was going through the air, a knock-in. All right, this is Francisco Bilbao. Bilbao taking the ball off the end line. Bilbao goes with a nice grass burner right over to Paige. Paige is in the clear this time. Paige taps it once. Paige still in control, taps it to the opposite side of Joe's horse so he can't come in to get a hook. All right, here's a horse race. Here comes a bump. Joe and Paige come together. Look at that beautiful near side. Back shot executed there by Joe Watkins. Right over to Nico Talamoni. Here comes Talamoni. Talamoni avoids the hook from Limehouse. And now here comes Bilbao and Pedro. Pedro avoids the hook. Pedro digging that ball out from under his horse. Then from the near side, this ball looks like it's rolling towards the goal just wide. What a shot there by Pedro, avoiding the bump and the hook from Bilbao. But he unsuccessfully doesn't get it through the goal mouth. All right. Back in action we come. Here's Bilbao. Bilbao with a nice knock-in off the end line right over to Paige. Here comes Paige McCabe again. She's going to try this on her 3rd chance. All right. I believe she left it there for, looked like it was Pedro with a nice back shot, but now it's stole by Bilbao, who backs it right over to Nick Johnson nicely. He knew he had one player on his hip, so he backed it over to Nick Johnson, who sends another pass right back over to Bilbao. But Bilbao is covered there by 2 players. This is Talamoni. Talamoni's picking this ball up with 5 minutes left in the 2nd chucker. Talamoni sets his pony down a little bit. Now he's trying to get a clear shot towards goal. He passes it up to Martinez. Can Alan reach back? Yes, Alan can. Alan Martinez. blows a little bit each way, so neither team has the advantage throughout the match. All right, the ball's back in play. Coming out of this throw, and it looks like it's Johnson. Johnson and Martinez dueling mallets. Martinez gets a back shot right over there to Nico. Nico is off to the races. He has a nice pass up the field to Watkins. Look at that near side shot by Watkins, cutting it towards goal. And then here comes Bilbao. This ball is going to be Bilbao's ball. As you notice the little line of the ball there. Watkins could not get back to it without following. All right, Nico and Frankie are dueling mallets, but Frankie comes out of this one. Frankie using both sides of his pony. Here comes Talamoni in to get a hook, but Nick Johnson's right there. Nick tries to go with a hook, and we get an umpire's whistle. They have boots on, and then you notice the horses with all their equipment as well. This is Bilbao taking this penalty shot from midfield. Bilbao sends his players up. Bilbao with a nice shot up the field. Who's going to be the first one there? It is Nick Johnson. Nick is about 60 yards out from goal. Nick slowing it down. Nick trying to get around Nico Talamoni. Nico comes in with a bump and backs it out of there. All right. This is going to be Bilbao. Now he got bumped off. All right. Talamoni now back on the ball. Nico Talamoni. He avoids the hook there from Johnson and switches it over to his near side of his pony. Nick Johnson gets this one from Nico though. Nick Johnson has 3 minutes left here in the second chukker. Nick with a nice back shot. Look at that pass right over to Frankie. Frankie and Allen put their mouth. Bilbao going to take this one from about 120 yards out. It's a nice shot, but look at it, knocked out of midair by Martinez. Martinez goes with the back shot, and the first one to turn is Talamoni. Talamoni, both sides of his horse, slowing it down there, trying to get his players out front. All right, Nico still in control. He sees Joe taking off. Look at that pass. Then Joe takes it out of midair, but then he leaves it there for Alan Martinez. Alan is off to the races. It gets backed out of there. But here comes Nico and Brad Limehouse, but Nico steals the ball from Limehouse. Nico is about 100 yards out from goal right now. He has Bilbao coming in to play defense. Nico still in control. Then Allen comes into the rumble seat. And look at that. He leaves it there nicely for Allen and takes the man. That's perfectly legal. Who's going to be the first one to turn on it? It is Talamoni with a back shot. That ball is rolling through the goal! Nico Talamoni with a back shot. Again. All right, Fross and Fross going towards the scoreboard. This bullet is won by Talamoni. No, it is Limehouse. Limehouse coming out of this throw-in. Limehouse has nothing but green grass. Limehouse on his nice pony Genie. He told me if he misses it, it's not the horse's fault, it's his fault. All right, the ball is backed out of there by Talamoni. Now it's picked up by Martinez. Martinez in control. He puts a nice pinpoint pass right over there to Watkins. Watkins leaves it there for Allen, and then they leave it there for Pedro. Pedro checks down. Pedro with a nice pass back to Allen. These guys are going from player to player with pinpoint passes. Then Allen goes with a nice shot towards goal. This is Nick Johnson coming in to save the day. Nick Babyface Johnson backs it out of there. The first one to turn on it is Pedro. Pedro now in control. Pedro's going to have to cut this one back towards the goal. Pedro, 30. Just wide at the first horn, ending our second chukker. Going over the end line, so UnitedHealthcare. They're down 3 goals here, but here comes Nick Johnson. Nick is off to the races. Nick on a nice little fast gray pony. I believe that little gelding's name is Fuego. Nick is avoiding the hook from Allen. Now he takes a little bit of bump, but Nick Johnson's still in control of the ball. He's over against the boards there. Nick, he's got 2 players fighting him. It took 2 players to take that ball away from Nick Johnson. All right, Allen with a nice pass over to Talamoni. But here comes Nick Johnson to steal it again. Nick saw Page on the fly. Look at this pass. Oh, unfortunately, Page's pony didn't like what that ball was doing, I think. All right, here comes Nico Talamoni taking the ball from Martinez. You got Nico and Page going up the field at high speeds. All right, they're bumping. Page takes this ball forward out of Nico's way. All right, it's over against the boards. Please pay attention. All right. Ball's up against the boards there. Pedro digs it out from the boards. And then here comes Limehouse in to get a hook. And then here comes Bilbao. Francisco, the thief in the night, Bilbao, stole it from everybody. All right, Bilbao along the boards right there. He's got his teammates going forward. He's got Brad Limehouse in the rumble seat right behind him. But here comes a nice grass burner up. Who's going to be the first one there for UnitedHealthcare? But no, it's Joe Watkins for the Fross for Fross team. Joe taking it around the long way. Joe coming right here in front of the grandstands. Look at that gorgeous cut shot right up the field. The first one there is Pedro. Pedro is off to the races. You see him check his pony down there, slowing it down. But here comes Nick Johnson. Oh, what a steal by Nick Johnson. And there comes Francisco Bilbao. All right, he is off to the races now. Look at Alan Martinez drop his horse and go. Bilbao on the fly, but here comes Martinez. Martinez checks down, goes in behind him, and then it takes a little bit of bad hop, but Bilbao still in control. He taps it underneath this pony there. He's going to have to wait for a player to get out of the way. The umpire calls. This is an undefended goal. Looks like Limehouse. Limehouse hits it. Brad Limehouse puts it through the goal. Now, UnitedHealthcare cutting the deficit. All right, coming out of this throw, and is Bilbao. Bilbao with a nice grass burner up the field. It takes a bounce off one of the ponies there, and it's backed out of there by Talamoni. And then here comes Allen and Francisco. Francisco with a nice back shot right over there. Pinpoint pass to Nick Johnson. Nick sees Page out front, and look at this pass from Nick to Page. Page cuts it towards the goal and picks it up on the near side. Paige McCabe is going towards goal. Paige McCabe! Ball's back in play with 3 minutes, 40 seconds. All right, coming out of this throw, and it is Alan Martinez. Alan coming out, but look at Bilbao steal that ball out from under his mallet. But here comes Talamoni. Look at that little pony that Francisco's on. Stop and turn and go the opposite direction. But Talamoni still in control. Talamoni about 30 yards out. Talamoni drives for show, puts for dough through the goal post. Getting ready to throw the ball back in play. Here he comes. Oh, he goes with the high-speed throwing. Lord Lyle bowling that ball in. All right, here comes Talamoni. Talamoni backs it out of there. Who's going to be the first one there is Joe Watkins. Joe Watkins working both sides of the pony. But here comes Paige. Here comes Lord getting it nice and smooth, straight. He goes for the shot up, and wide right. All right, this ball's getting brought in by Francisco Bilbao off the end line. Francisco looking over his shoulder, trying to see where his team is. You'll see them all jockeying for position. You'll see them bumping. All right, here comes Brad Limehouse. Brad with a little cut shot underneath his horse's neck. Brad and Alan come together, riding over it. Here comes Nico Talamoni with a back shot. And then here comes Pedro. Pedro with a nice back shot. Who's going to be the first one to turn on it? It is Nico Talamoni taking it on the near side. Then here comes Nick Johnson. Nick gets a little bit of a ride off. All right, now here comes Bilbao. Bilbao slowing it down. He sees he does not have anybody out front. All right, he's going to take this one by himself. Here comes Bilbao, showing his skills with the mallet. And look at those ponies that Frankie is riding. All right, Bilbao now releases this one. That one looks like it's going. Wide. On Martinez. UnitedHealthcare on these knock-ins have to place themselves 30 yards away from the end line. All right, Martinez hits it up the field, and then here comes Pedro right over here in front of the grandstands. All right, Pedro bumps it off the boards there, but here comes Limehouse. Limehouse in control. He's looking towards goal. He angles this one towards the goal. This ball is a little bit off angle, and here comes Joe Watkins to take it out of there. But he leaves it there for Allen. Look at that neck shot off, heads up over there.
30.
All right, that ends our chucker, and that is our... I think Alan might be tweeting real quick before we start this chucker. tweeting out to his fans. All right, Lord Lyle puts the ball up. Lord Lyle bowls the ball in and calls a penalty on the throw-in. Maybe we're not supposed to tweet on the field. I'm not sure. Lord Lyle rocking down the field, waving a card. What is this by Lord Lyle?
No, that's the $100 bill Alan gave him.
Oh. What kind of wealth management we got going on here for the Fross and Fross team? All right, let's try this again. All right, ball's back in play. Coming out of there is Bilbao. Bilbao going towards goal. He takes a shot. That ball is dying right there in front of the goal. Is it going to stay on the field of play? Here comes Alan Martinez. He lets it roll off the field, out of play, giving Fross and Fross a knock-in. Fross and Fross dodges a bullet there by Bilbao, trying to cut the deficit. All right, here comes Martinez. Martinez in off the end line. He's looking to see where his players are. He's got Nico Talamoni going on a little racehorse out front of everybody. Nico's going to have to dig this one off the boards. He gets one shot. Nico gets a second shot. Here comes Limehouse in to get a hook. Nico avoids the hook from Limehouse. Nico still in control. Nico Talamoni still in control. Avoiding the hook from Limehouse. Nico Talamoni. Ooh, the ball takes a bad hop. Who's going to be the first one there? Looks like it's Page. Page with a nice little back shot right over there to Frankie. Frankie backs it over to Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson now in control. Nick Johnson out front. He's going to try to keep that ball away from Joe Watkins. All right, Nick checks down as he crosses midfield. All right, Nick still in control. Now here comes Allen to try to get a hook. Allen gets the hook and the ball. Nice play by Alan Martinez right there to steal it from Johnson. But guess what Allen forgot to do on that one? Allen forgot to back it out of there. Here comes Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson! The field looks very nice. As you saw, that ball rolled a lot better for these players. They appreciate you stomping all those divots for them. Here comes Bilbao out of this throw-in. Bilbao in control. He fakes the swing there, but then comes Talamoni and tries to steal it, but guess what? Bilbao still has it. Bilbao with a nice pass right out front to Paige McCabe. Here comes Joe Watkins to get a bump, but here comes Paige. She tries to angle it, but catches the ground a little bit too heavy, putting the ball in line. Allen still in control. Here comes Johnson in. Forces Allen to release the ball up the field to Pedro. Pedro now checks down, then goes with a nice shot up the field and try to get some boards. Please pay attention over there in the tailgating side. All right, here comes Paige on the near side to further it along. And now she's going to have a nice clean shot with a nice back shot right there. And then the first one to turn on it is Limehouse. But there is Nico Talamoni stealing out from under Limehouse's mallet. Nico slowing it down now. Nico angles that one over towards the goal. Here comes the ball. It's sitting right there in front of the goal. We got an umpire's whistle. Waiting for the umpire call play. Umpire calls play. Alan Martinez giving Fross and Fross a 5-3 lead. All right, ball's back in play. Here comes Limehouse. Limehouse coming out of this throw-in. He reaches back. Limehouse using both sides of the pony, but here's Talamoni coming in now. Nico Talamoni slowing the ball down. Nico's nice little pass right over to Martinez. Martinez avoids the hook from Johnson. Martinez out front all alone. He should never be this alone. UnitedHealthcare losing control there of one player, and Alan Martinez tapping it all the way through the goal. Too far now. Trying to cut this deficit. It's 3 goals. Coming out of this throw-in is Bilbao, and the umpire's whistle. 10 minutes to tee it up. All right, here comes Allen. And Allen just taps it. Oh my goodness, after all that work. All right, Martinez with a nice grass burner up the field. Who's going to be the first one there? It is going to be Francisco Bilbao with a nice shot right over to Paige. Paige gets her second shot. She digs it off the boards now. Here comes Paige McCabe right down in front. I think Nick Johnson told her to leave it there. Nick, he loses the ball. It bounces over the boards. All right, we're going to have umpire Lyle bowls the ball back into play. Here comes Martinez out the backside of that throw-in. He reaches back, but here comes Francisco Bilbao stealing it. Bilbao in control. Bilbao loses the ball under his pony, and now it's picked up by Limehouse. Limehouse gets bumped off by Talamoni. Talamoni now in control. Talamoni going around the long way there. Then Brad comes in, and then here comes Bilbao. Look at that pass from Bilbao to Johnson. Nicely done. Nick Johnson off to the races with a nice pass over to Paige McCabe. Paige now, she furthers the ball along a little bit further past midfield. Paige takes another strike up the field going towards goal. But here comes Joe Watkins in to back it out of there. All right, Paige still in control now. Paige backs it over to Nick Johnson. Look at that pass from Paige to Nick Johnson. Nick shoots wide of the goal. Come on. Just knocked in before the first horn. Right before the horn. Excuse me, he does not get the hit before the horn. Ending our... And then the head is made out of a tippet wood, which is very hard.
Okay.
Cool. All right. This is the fabulous fifth chucker. It will start with a knock-in for the Fross and Fross team on the far south end down there. I believe we have 8 players. Still talking strategy. Waiting for umpire Lyle to call play. I hear play. Fross and Frosses. Alan Martinez taking this knock-in off the end line. All right, Martinez taps it once. Now he goes with a neck shot, re-angling it, totally different direction, catching everyone off guard, except for his player, Joe Watkins, in the right place at the right time. Watkins digging the ball off the boards. Now Watkins goes with a nice shot up the field. But you notice Nick Johnson riding his player way off the play over there. He's not allowing Allen to even get back to the play. All right, here comes Paige. Oh, here comes Francisco. And then here comes Talamoni. Talamoni stealing that ball from Frankie. Nico, look at that neck shot under his horse's neck, right out front. Here comes Alan Martinez. He avoids the hook from Nick Johnson. Alan Martinez. All right. Once again, we switch ends. Ball's back into play. Who's going to be the first one out of this throw? It's Paige McCabe and Joe Watkins dueling a mallet. Then Joe Watkins with a nice little back shot, and it's picked up on the fly there by Alan Martinez. Look at that neck shot. That was like a perfect shot down the field, but you notice he broke his mallet. Well, he did that. All right, Talamoni puts it off the field of play. Calls play. 5.5 minutes left. Here comes Bilbao. Bilbao places that ball right to Brad Limehouse nicely. Here comes Brad Limehouse right here in front of the grandstands. He passes that one right up to Nick Johnson. Nick avoids the hook, but avoids the ball as well. Then Nico, nice little neck shot, gets up on the handlebars of his horse. Nice pass over to Pedro. Pedro takes it on the near side now to the offside. And then here comes Paige in to get a hook on him. Pedro and Paige going after each other. Pedro still in control, but it's backed out of there nicely by Paige. All right, the ball stops right there. Frankie slows it down. He sends his players forward. He taps it right over to Nick Johnson up against the boards. Nick checks his pony down, digs it off the boards. Now he goes with a nice pass right over to Paige. All right, Paige, you'll notice she checks her pony down to slow it up. And then ball takes a bad hop. Here comes Alan Martinez and Nick Johnson. Look at Nick reach and try to get that hook. Then Talamoni comes in to try to bump Nick out of the way. But here comes Alan still in control. Alan taps it forward, but Francisco, the thief, Bilbao, steals it out from underneath Alan's mallet. Here comes Pedro with a nice back shot right over to... Picked up by Paige. Paige McCabe. Page with a nice pass forward too. Nick, but he gets bumped off by Allen. Allen Martinez with a back shot. Over to Nico Talamoni. Nico, look at that next shot. Just wide of the goal. All right, Francisco Bilbao tapping this ball in off the end line. All right, but it's backed out of there by Martinez. Martinez backs it right over to the umpire. Likes to turn back around. Now we hear the umpire call play. "60 yards, defended goal. The object's to hit it above everybody's head so no one can stop it." It's a little bit of a grass burner. Now it's taken out of that goal mouth by Nick Johnson. Now it's picked up by Pedro. Nick and Pedro's horses are bumping, and the umpire's whistle is Allen strikes the ball through the goal. Allen Martinez. All right, umpire Lyle bowls this ball back into play. Coming out the backside, it is Martinez. Allen Martinez has been all over the field today. All right, Allen. Tap, tap, tap. Now he goes with a nice grass burner, trying to get up to Pedro, but he does not reach Pedro, and it's backed out of there by Page. And then Nico Talamoni takes it out of midair with that mallet with the pink paint on it. Nico goes with a neck shot. That ball's rolling. Wide of the goal. 2 minutes left. UnitedHealthcare taking this knock in. It is Bilbao. Bilbao taking it right up the middle of the field. He's waiting for one of his players to come back out on the field. Now he releases a nice pass right up the field to Nick Babyface Johnson. Here comes Johnson now. Nick Johnson forgets the ball right there. Now it's Nico Talamoni. Talamoni in control of the ball. Talamoni's going. He reaches back. He does not get his shot. Now it's picked up by Bilbao. Bilbao now taking it around the long way. Here comes Francisco Bilbao. Look at that pony run. Francisco Bilbao out front. Then look at this pony bite. Allen put the pressure on. All right. It is picked up there by Pedro Lori. Pedro now. He goes with the back shot. He had Nico turning at the perfect time. Nico picks it up on the near side. Here comes Nick Johnson in. Nico faking Nick out there a little bit. Nico still in control. Then Nico releases the ball right there to Allen. Allen out front now. He's going to check down a little bit. He's slowing it down. He sees Frankie there. He's got Nick coming in. Nick tries to come in to get the hook. Allen's still in control of the ball right over there in front of you tailgaters. Give him a round of applause there, right there, showing you the skills they have on top of the horses. All right, it's stole out of there by Francisco Bilbao. Bilbao now. He goes on the opposite side of Talamoni. Francisco Bilbao. We have a horse race. There's our first horn. We got 30 seconds left. Bilbao gets a little bit of shot, but it's off angle and backed out of there by Joe Watkins. The first one now is Allen Martinez and Nick Johnson come together. Allen with a nice shot right over to Mr. Joe Watkins. Here comes Watkins. He pops it up in midair. He's still in control. There's Joe Watkins, another little angled shot towards goal. But here comes Brad Limehouse to angle it out of the goal mouth. Over against the boards. There's our second horn. The 6 chucker is going to start right in front of the Fross and Fross VIP tent. Umpire Lyle getting them lined up. We got 8 players. We got 1 ball in play. Here comes Allen Martinez out of the back of the throw-in. Allen gets a little bit of bumped up there by Limehouse. Look at that gorgeous shot by Joe Watkins. A near side neck shot right back over to Allen Martinez. Allen out front, all alone now. Allen tapping it. Through the goal. Or, wait a minute. Yes, that is Allen Martinez. All right. Lord Lyle getting ready to bowl this ball back into play. It's back into play. Coming out of here is Talamoni. Talamoni's getting bumped off there by Limehouse. Limehouse and Talamoni sort 55.5 yards from the goal. And now look at this pass from Bilbao out front. Who's going to be the first one there? Look at that next shot from Paige McCabe towards the goal. But here comes Joe Watkins. Watkins playing defense, backs it out of there nicely. First one to turn on it, though, is Bilbao. Bilbao takes it under his horse's neck. Turning on it now, bounces it off the boards, using the boards as a fifth man. All right, Bilbao going towards goal. Bilbao avoids the bump there by Talamoni. Francisco Bilbao! Flagman waving the... See if they can cut this deficit down. Ball's back into play. Here comes Bilbao. Bilbao stealing this ball out of this throw-in. Releases it upfield, trying to reach Nick Johnson, but here comes Paige. Paige taps it forward. Oh, looks like we got a buried ball. Umpire blows his whistle. All right, ball's back into play. Coming out of this throw, and it is Johnson. Johnson with a little off-angled reverse shot over to Paige, but here comes Joe Watkins in for the steal. Oh, the ball gets lost there between a couple players, and it's backed out of there by Talamoni right over to Alan Martinez with a missile up the field. Who's going to be the first one there? It is Joe Watkins. And then here comes Bilbao in. Bilbao coming in. He puts the pressure on, causing Joe to ride over that ball. Bilbao in control now. Bilbao releases the ball right over to his player, Paige. Paige out front, going past midfield. Paige McCabe off to the races. We'll see Brad Limehouse pushing Allen out of the way so he cannot get a hook. Here's Paige with a nice approach shot. Paige McCabe going. Just wide. Oh, what happened there? But the ball rolled wide of the goal. Tough luck for McCabe. All right. Fross and Fross dodges that bullet. Here comes Martinez. 4 minutes left here in the sixth chucker. Here comes Allen. He's letting that pony run. Here comes Allen. The ball takes a bad shot off Francisco Bilbao. Bilbao approaches. Nice shot right up the field. It is angled correctly. And now here comes Paige McCabe. She's coming in trying for another chance. Paige McCabe just wide of the goal again. We're going to have Fross and Frosses. Alan Martinez. He takes the next shot. Total different angle. All the players are going, but there's Joe Watkins. Once again, wonderful teamwork between Alan and Joe. Joe is on a racehorse. He's passing midfield. Look at that pony run. Joe Watkins out front all alone. Look at him check his pony down. All right, he slows it down. And he loses the ball behind him. And now here comes Paige McCabe. Paige angles it off out of the goal mouth. 3 minutes left here in the sixth chucker. Paige gets a cut shot up the field. Now it's stolen out of there by Pedro. Pedro Laurie steals this one. Pedro, look at him tap that ball out of midair. Pedro's still in control. He's reaching back. He's reaching forward. He gets bumped out of there by Bilbao. And Bilbao backs it out of play there. But there's Nico Talamoni backing it towards goal. But the first one there is Bilbao. He fakes the back shot. Now he's going to take it around the long way. Francisco Bilbao now in control, releases the ball up the field. Here comes Brad Limehouse out front. Brad Limehouse is going towards goal. And here comes Joe Watkins on that nice fast pony that he just showed you just a minute ago. Look at that cut shot by Brad Limehouse. That ball still a little bit short of the goal. Here comes the third time is a charm. There we go, Paige McCabe. Cutting the lead, the 9 through the goal post. All right, it is 9-5. Umpire Lyle getting ready to pull this ball back into play. Who's it going to be?
1.5.
1.5 minutes. It's Limehouse. Limehouse steals it out from under Alan Martinez's mallet. Here comes Brad Limehouse. Out front, all alone with 1 minute. Brad Limehouse cuts it towards the goal. And Nico's sitting right there, but the ball's over the end line, out of play. Nico's going to place it on the end line for a knock-in for the Frost and Frost team. Let's give both teams a round of applause for this last minute of play. Here comes Nico Talamoni taking a nice missile up the field. Who's going to be the first one there? It is Joe Watkins. Joe off to the races again. Joe about 100 yards out. He has a nice angled shot towards goal. It's rolling. He's driving first show. See if he can putt for dough. Joe Watkins! Full tournament is won by the Fross team. Once again, stick around. We're going to have a trophy presentation here in just a few moments. Please feel free to walk out on the field, stop a few divots, meet and ask for an autograph. Once again, we're going to give these players a chance to go down. Paige McKay, Nick Johnson, and Francisco Bilbao. All right, now we got the Fross and Fross group up there. We got Tom Fross, Robin Fross, MJ Fross, and Jenny Fross. Fross and Fross 12 ball, won by the Fross and Fross team. All right. The runners-up was UnitedHealthcare, playing in the #1 position. Was Paige McKay. See, everyone comes out here. These guys like signing autographs and talking to them. And while you're doing that, stomp some divots. All right, for the UnitedHealthcare team, playing in the #1 position was Paige McKay. Playing in the #2 position was Nick Johnson. Playing in the #3 position was Francisco Bilbao. And playing in the back position today was Brad Limehouse. One more round of applause for the UnitedHealthcare team coming up just a little bit short today. All right, now for the Fross and Fross team, playing in the #1 position was Joe Watkins. Playing in the #2 position was Pedro Laurie. Playing in the #3 position, I think his name is Nico Talamoni. And playing in the back position at the #4 was Alan Martinez. Round of applause for both teams and the Fross and Fross group of Tom, Jenny, MJ, and Robert.